Hello, let's continue my Sudoku study series with SudokuCon by Palfly Kampling. Okay, in this puzzle we have normal 9x9 Sudoku rules where you have to place the numbers 1 through 9 in every row, column, and 3x3 box. We also have a lot of other rules in this puzzle. So in this first box we have lockout lines. The digits on the blue lines must not be the same as or in between the digits filled in the diamonds. So if this was a 1 and 5, these couldn't be from 2, 3, 4. They would have to be from 6, 7, 8, or 9. Because they can't be in between the 1 or the 5. In box 2, we have German whisper lines where adjacent digits have to have a difference of at least 5. So if this was an 8, this could be a 3 and a 2, but it couldn't be a 4 because that's only 4 away from 8. In box 3, we have arrows where the digits on the arrows have to sum to the digit in the circle. So if this was a 6, this could be a 4 and a 2, or a 1 and a 5. In box 4 and 8, so this box and this box, we have thermometers where the digits along the thermometer have to increase from the bulb end. So if this was a 1, this could be a 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, it couldn't be this because we wouldn't have a number per here, but you get the idea. They just have to increase along the line. In box 5, we have short-sided entropic lines. Adjacent digits on the orange line must not be from the same entropic set. So normally in entropic lines, every 3 cells have to have a digit from one of the 3 sets of entropy. So a low set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. But this one is a little less restrictive in that adjacent digits can't be from the same set. So if this was a 7, this couldn't be an 8 or a 9 because that's from the same set. But it could be any other number from the other 2 sets, which again are 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6. And then box 6 and 9, we have these purple lines, which are Renban lines, which the digits along the line just have to come from a consecutive set. So this line is 7 length, so you could have the numbers 1 through 7 on here, but you couldn't do 1 through 6 plus an 8 because the 8 isn't consecutive with the rest of the numbers. Same thing with this one down here. And then finally down here in box 7, we have between lines. The digits on the gray line must be strictly in between the digits filled in the circles, excluding the digits in the circles. So this is kind of the opposite of this, where up here in the diamonds, you have to have numbers in between that are not in between those 2 numbers. And down here, these numbers on the line must be between the 2 numbers here and here. So if this was a 8 and 3, this would have to be like 4, 5, 7. But it couldn't be a 9 or a 1 or a 2 because those are not in between those 2 numbers. So that's all of the rules we have for this puzzle, which are quite a bit, but it should be interesting to see how they interact. There's a link to the puzzle in the description if you would like to try it, and let's get started. Okay, there's so many places we could start here. Let's start in box 1. First things first, these digits all have to be at least 4 apart, which I think means these have to be 1, 5, and 9. Because if we have a 1 here, 4 digits apart from that is 5. Now it says they have to at least be 5. So if we only had 2 of these, we could do 1 and 7. Those are more than 4 apart. But then what would we put here? It can't be... Well, maybe you could go back low. But then where are we putting the other digits? Like, because the digits here can't be between these 2. So the only digits that aren't in between these 2 are 1, 8, and 9. But we already have a 1 here, so where are we putting, what are we putting up here? So I still think it's 1, 5, and 9. I think that's the only way that's going to work. Now, in what order, I'm not sure. We know this one isn't going to be a 1, because if you put a 9 on the other one, everything is in between those. So you wouldn't be able to put any digits along this line at all. If this was a 1 and this was a 9, what are we putting here? So this one can't be 1. And this one can't be 9. This one has to be a 5 for the same reason. Because if this was a 9, then one of these is going to be a 1. And what are we putting in between those 2 numbers? All right, so this has to be a 5. And then if this is a 1, this is going to be 6, 7, and 8, and this would be the opposite set. So one of these is going to be 2, 3, 4, and the other one's going to be 6, 7, and 8. I just don't know which way yet. All right, so let's move on to the German whispers. So in German whispers, 5 cannot go along these lines at all because there's no number that's 5 away from 5. We don't have a 0 or a 10. So we know 5 goes in one of these 2 cells. Actually, we know 5 goes right here now that we've placed this 5. Which means we have a 5 down here somewhere. And the 5's not going here. Because how the minimum that 3 digits is 6. Like if these are 1, 2, 3, this would be 6. You can't do 5 in 3 digits. So 5 is going to one of these two spots. What else is pretty limited on German whispers? You have 4 and 6 are really limited. Because if you have a 4 here, the only digit that's 5 away is 9. You can't have 2 9s on either side. So if 4 goes on a German whisper, it goes on the ends. It can't go in the middle here or here. Same thing with 6, because the only number that pairs with 6 is a 1. So 6 and 4 can't go in these 3 spots, but that's not super limiting as of yet. This might be pretty limited in the circle here on this arrow, because again, I said that the minimum this can be is 6, because you have 3 digits along this arrow here, which would be at minimum 1, 2, 3. Which would make this 6. But if we did that, what are we putting over here to add to 6? Because these both need to add to whatever's in this circle. So this can't be 6, because if this was 1, 2, 3, the minimum this could be is 4 and 5, and that's 9. And the same thing, I don't think this can be 7, because this would be 1, 2, 4. That's the only way to add to 7 in 3 digits. And how are we going to add to 7 up here? You can't do 6, 1 if the 1 is going over here. You can't do 5, 2 if the 2 is going over here. And you can't do 3, 4. So this can't be 7. Can it be 8? There's 2 ways to add to 8 in 3 digits. It's 1, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 5. So they all involve a 1. If we did 1, 3, and 4, we could still do 6, 2 over here. So yeah, this could still be 8. So this is an 8 or a 9. So if this was an 8, 9, if this was an 8, these would add to 8, these would add to 8, and this would be 8. So that would be 8 times 3, which is 24, and these 3 digits would have to be 21, because the entire box is 45, if you add all the numbers together. How do you get to 21 in 3 digits? Without a 9 or an 8, depending on which one it is. If this was an 8, how do we get to 21 in 3 digits? We'd be 9. 9 and 7 and 16 plus 5. But would we still be able to add to 8 without a 5 on both of these lines? All right, let's think about if this was a 9. That would make the entire arrow set here equal 27. And these 3 numbers would have to add to 18. Maybe that is restrictive. I'm not sure. I'd have to go through all the different variables. So let's go back to 8. This was 8. This could be 1, 3, 5. Or no, 1, 2, 5. And this could be... Wait up. Can we do 8? So if this was 8, let's say this was 1, 3, and 5 to get to 8. Oh no, it would be 1, 2, and 5 to get to 8. What are we putting over here? We can't do 7, 1. We can't do 6, 2. Can't do 5, 3, and we can't do 4, 4. So we can't do 1, 2, 5 if that's 8. The other option is 1, 3, and 4. And then we could do... Wait up, we couldn't do 7, 1. We couldn't do 5, 3. We could do 6, 2. That's what it is. We could do 6, 2. Which would leave 9, 7, and 5. So that works. So if this is 8, this would have to be 1, 3, 4, and this would have to be 6, 2. And that would make this a 5. This was 9, we could do 2, 3, 4. Maybe there's an easier way to break into this puzzle, and I'm focusing on the wrong box, but I'm kind of want to see if I can figure this out. Wait, can this ever be 5 is the question, I guess. Because 5 is either going here or here. we figured out that if, wait, up on the 8 one, we did, yeah, 1, 2, and 5, right? Did that work? No, that didn't work, right? Because we can't do 6, 2, can't do 7, 1, can't do 5, 3. This was 1, 3, 4 where it worked. And then this was 6, 2. So yeah, 5 did not work with 8. Cannot work with 9. If this was 5, this would have to be a 1, 3 pair. So this would be 1, 3, 5. And then how are we getting to 9 over here in 2 numbers? You can't do 8, 1. Can't do, you could do 2, 7. Okay, so that works. This can be 5. All right. All right, maybe I can't limit that as much as I wanted to just yet. These run band lines are interesting because they're 7 in length and they have to be consecutive, which means these 2 digits here are going to come from the extreme ends. This could be 1 through 7, it could be 2 through 8, or it could be 3 through 9. But no matter what, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are going on this line. The only numbers these 2 can be are 1, 2, 8, and 9. And I think the same thing down here. This is also 7 in length. So these 2 are the same. So this is a 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple. So that removes 1, 2, 8, 9 from the rest of this column. That might limit this cell quite a bit. You know, I was thinking about this cell earlier. I was thinking, can it be 5? But now I'm thinking, does it have to be 5? Is there not an option where we don't use 5 here? Yeah, on the 8 one, where we did 1, 3, and 4. And then this is 6, 2. So yeah, this could still be 5 over here. We don't have to use 5 here. Okay. All right, maybe this thermometer. This thermometer is 8 in length, and it has to strictly increase. So this has to at least be 8 here. This is an 8 or a 9. Because we could go 1 through 8. It doesn't have to be consecutive. You could skip over a digit in the middle, but this has to at least be 8. And this has to be at least 7. And you're just going to go down the way here. There's going to be a 6 or a 7. There's going to be 5, 6. There's going to be 4, 5. Ah, this one can't be a 5. So this one is a 4. Okay, so that makes this one the bare minimum, which is 3, and this is 2, and this is 1. Which makes this a 9 and this a 1. Okay, maybe I should have thought about how these 2 interacted a bit more earlier. All right, so this is going to be 2, 3, and 4 in here. This one's not a 4. That makes this a 4 over here somewhere in one of these 2 spots. And then this is going to be the 3 digits that are not between 1 and 5, which are a 6, 7, and 8. Okay. And then this digit's going to be whatever one doesn't go in this over here. We don't know what that is yet. Ah, this has to be an 8 now. Okay. Which means we know what these are. This has to be 1, 3, 4. And this isn't a 1. And this has to be 2, 6. Which means this is a 5. This is no longer a 5. And then this is a 7, 9 pair. This isn't 1, this isn't 2. That hasn't limited this entirely yet. Hasn't told us which one is which. All right. Is there any other pairs or triples that we formed with any of these numbers? Doesn't look like it. So we know a 4 is going down here somewhere. And a 1 is going in here. But actually, I think we can place the 1 because in box 7, the between lines, the numbers on the line have to become the in between the digits in the circles. But 1 is never in between anything because it's an extreme digit. So 1 has to go in this column and it can't go on either line. So this has to be a 1 here. And 9 is either going to go here or in one of the boxes because it's also not in between anything. Same thing with the 2 now, because 2, since 1 is not going in the circles anywhere, 2 is no longer going to be able to be in between anything that does go in the circles. So 2 is limited to the circles or this box here. Actually, 2 has to go over on this side because we have a 2 here. And that, you know what, that places this 2 right here. Interesting. Okay. Does that help us out along here anywhere? Don't think so quite yet. What do we still need in this row, though? We're going to need a 6 somewhere. We're going to need a 6 down here somewhere, which is going to have to go next to the 1. That's interesting. That means a 1 either has to go... Oh no, 1 could still go here. I was going to say 1 would have to go in this row if the 6 is here or here. Oh, the 6 can't go here, so the 6 is in one of these 2 boxes. Which means the 1 either goes here or here for the box, because that's the only number that can go next to a 6 on a German Whisper. Is there any other digit that we're missing from this row up here? We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I was seeing if there was any digit that was limited to these 2 cells, because that might help us place some more digits along the German Whisper, but we're not limited yet. At least not that I can see off the, like, immediately. Okay. So this thermometer is a bit different from this one, but this cell is still pretty limited. Like, if these are 2 separate thermometers, kind of, in that, like, if this was just a 4-digit thermometer on its own, this could be a 5, right? You could do, actually, if this was just 4 on its own, this could be a 6, but this one's 5. So this one has to at least be a 5 if we were just thinking about this thermometer here. But we need, every digit along both thermometers needs to be bigger than this digit here. So you still need 7 digits that are bigger than this. So this at most can be a 2. This is a 1 or a 2. But then these ones are very more. These ones are way. I can't talk. These ones are way more wide open than this one up here, because this could be like 4, 8, 9, and then you could have the 5, 6, 7, you know, over here, sort of thing, or 3, 4, 6, 7, and vice versa. At bare minimum, I think the 8 has to go over here. Now, you could put an 8 here if the 9 was over here. Either the 8 or the 9 or both are going over here. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with that just yet. Oh, you know what? This can't be a 9 because we had this 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple here. So this has to be a 7 now that I think about it. And this has to be a 9. Okay. It places a 7 up here, which puts a 7 down here somewhere. Now that I'm thinking about these run band lines, did these have to be the extremes? Like, does one of these have to be 1 through 7, the other one have to be 3 through 9? Or can one of them be 2 through... Or could they both be 2 through 8? Or one be 2 through 8 and 1 through 7? I think they have to be the extremes, because let's say one of these was 1 through 7, the other one was 2 through 8. That would force the 9 in this column in both boxes. So yeah, these have to be the extremes, where one of these is going to have the 1, 2 in the middle here, and the other one is going to have the 8, 9. So one of these is going to be 1 through 7, the other one is going to be 3 through 9. So that's something to think about. This can't be a 1 because of this 1, 2, 8, 9 quad 2. I forgot about that. So that actually forces a 1 over here. And that makes this, let's see, we need this to be a 4, 5 pair. Oh, this is a 5 because there's 4 over here. So this is a 5 and a 4. Which makes this a 3. Whoops, I messed something up. Oh man, I messed something up. Where did I mess up? Okay, did I mess up this being a 4, 5 pair? Oh, it's not a 4, 5 pair, it's a 5, 6 pair. That's what I did. Okay. Yeah. All right, so we don't know the order of these yet. Oh, we have a 5-6 pair across here now, so that might be helpful. I haven't really looked at this line yet because it's not as limited as most entropic lines are. Because you just need the digits next to each other not to come from the same set. But you could do like 7, 1, 8 or something like that. Normally you wouldn't be able to do that. So I haven't really looked at it because I don't think it's that limiting, but I could be wrong about that. So maybe if we think about this row a bit more. We still have 5 digits left if you don't include the 5-6 pair, which would be 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's not really limiting really at all. Although these ones can't be, no, these can be 8, 9. This quad doesn't apply to these cells here, just to the column. All right, maybe this box is a bit more limiting. So we need at least 3 digits in between these two. So if this was a 2, this would have to be at least a 6. I don't think this could be a, could this be a 4? If this is a 4, this would have to be a digit, a high digit. It couldn't be a 2. This would have to be at least an 8. Oh, you know what? 9 has to go over here. Now that I see this. Because of this 9, it's pointing down. 9 can't go here, here. So this is a 9 over here somewhere. So the digits in here are 2, 9, and then whatever one of these digits doesn't go. Anyway, back to this 4. If this is a 4, this would have to at least be an 8. And this would have to be 5, 6, 7 in here. And then this would have to be a 2. Yeah, if this is a 4, this would have to be a 2, I think, right? Or does it? If this was 4 and this was 8, this would be 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't think this one can be... If this is a 4, I think this would have to be a 2. If this was 8, this would be 5, 6, 7. And then that would... If this wasn't a 2, it would have to be the 9, but what's going here? Because we'd have the 8 here. But we could do a 2 and a 3, so that still works. And this could be the 9. So this could still be a 4. We know 9 is going in here somewhere. All right, this can't be a 1, 2, or 3. This is a minimum of 4. Could this be a 5? If this is a 5, this would have to be a 9. And then this would be 6, 7, 8, which would make this a 9. This would have to be low. Does this have to be a 4 or 5, basically, is what I'm thinking. Because if this was a 6, what's this number? This would have to be a low number. It'd have to be a 2. This would be 3, 4, 5. That works too. Dang it. I'm not sure what to do with this box down here. Maybe I'm focusing on the wrong box. So if this was 2. If this was 2, this would have to be, I think at most a 7, because we'd still need something to go over here. No, I think if this was 2 and this was 9, this could be like 6. And you could place a 7 here and everything else would still fit in here, right? Yeah, I think I may be focusing on the wrong box. I'm just not seeing how this is limiting anything. It's probably going to have something to do with this entropic line here, and I'm just ignoring it entirely. Just because I feel like this isn't that limiting, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's something to do with this thermo down here. This one seems wide open too, though. Oh, where does 1 go? This has to be a 1, because 1 can't go in here, and 1 can never go along a thermo unless it's in the bulb, because there's nothing smaller than 1. I should have noticed that earlier. Okay, so 1 isn't going here. 1 has to go down here. Okay, that actually makes this a 1, 6, 7 triple down here, because 6 and 7 also have to go down here. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. We have this 3, 4 pair here. I totally missed that. So this is a 1, 6, 7. Actually, 1 can't go here. Because if 1 went here, that would force 6 to go here, and that would force 1 to go here, and we'd have 2 1s. So that doesn't work. So 1 actually has to go right here. And since the 6 has to go in one of these two German whistles, it has to go here, and this has to be a 7. Oh man, I could have done that a while ago. Okay. So now these are both high. This is low. This is high. This has to be at least, this can't be a 6, can't be a 7, so this is an 8 or a 9. And then this is low. So this is 2, 3, or 4. This is low. Also 2, 3, or 4. Well, not 4. And actually not 3, because it's not, this has to be a 2. Which makes this a 6 and this a 2. Okay. And this is now an 8. All right. You know, as soon as I removed 1 from here, that made that a 3, 4 pair. I could have solved so much of this a while ago. I was so focused on this box down here and these other boxes after that. I totally skipped over that we had a 3, 4 pair here. Or maybe it was after I realized that the 2s had to go over here. I forget which one I did first, where I removed this one and placed the 1 here, or if I placed the 2 here. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. Anyway, this is now high. Can't be a 6, can't be a 7, can't be a 9, so this is an 8. And then this is a 3 or a 4. This can still be either one, because both of those are at least 5 away from 9. So 9 is not going down here, and 9 can't go anywhere else in here except right here. It's the only spot left for a 9 in this box. Which means 9 is going in one of these two circles. And we know 8 is going to go over here somewhere. Because 8 can't go anywhere else along these thermos because we can't have a 9 anywhere else. Like, if we put an 8 here, we'd need a 9 here. Which forces 8 in this column, in this box. Okay. 1 is also in this box, right here. Are there any more basic Sudoku we can do? 1 can't go in here. Well, we already know where the 1 goes. 2 can't go in here. 3, 4, 5, 9 goes over here somewhere. This might be a little bit more limited now that we have some more numbers up here. Where's the 7 going in this box? Can't go here. It could go here. 7, I think, can go in any of these boxes. Let's see, 5 and 6 also can't go down here. Can 6 go in here? Yeah, you could do 6, 7, 8. That works. So 6 could still go here. It can't go here, though. So 6 is either going down here or over here. This is at least a 3, but it's at most a 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 3, 4, 5. And this is 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Oh, this has to be a 7 because it can't be a 5, 6. Okay, so this is a 7, which makes this an 8. All right, so things are a bit more limited down here. 2 has to go up here. Actually, 2 has to go right here because what would go in between the 1 and the 2? So this is a 2. That removes 2 from this box. Also removes it from here. That forces this Ren band to be the 1 through 7. Because we need... Or does it? Yeah, it does. Because remember, I'm fairly certain that these have to be the extremes. They can't... One of them has to be 1 through 7, the other one has to be 3 through 9. So this one can't be the 3 through 9, because what would go in this box right here, right? So this is a 1 through 7. And it leaves the 8 and the 9 over here. And then this is a 1 and a 2. This is the 3 through 9 Ren band. This is the 1 through 7 Ren band. That forces a 9 over here. So that makes this at most, let's see, we'd have 8, 7, 6. This is a 5 or a 4. What digits do we have left in this column? It's just 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So these are 4, 5, 6, 7. And this one can't be 4, 5. Interesting. Ah, this one has to be a 4 then. Because we need a 5 in this column. And we need a 4 in this column. If this is a 5, where's the 4 going? Because 4 isn't between a 5 and a 9. So this one has to be a 4. Which means this one's not a 4. This one also can't be a 5. Oh yeah, it could be, because this could be a 6. So this is a 5, 6, 7 triple. So the other 3 digits we have left are 2, 3, and 8. So that means 2 has to go here, 3 has to go here, and 8 has to go here. That makes this a 7, and this a 6, and this a 5. This is still an 8, 9 pair over here. Okay. This is no longer a 1. This forces this to be a 1. This is a 6, and this is a 5. That makes this a 5. This is no longer a 5. What are these digits over here? Could we still put a 5 over here? If we did, it would be right here. Nope, because this 5. So yeah, 5 is placed right here. And then this has to be the 6, because we don't have any digits left that are bigger than a 6, so this is a 6 right here. We're making this a 7 and this a 6. This is also a 3 or a 4. Okay, it's starting to come together. I'm almost done here, I think. So we have a 3, 4 pair in this column, so that leaves this as a triple, which is a 2, 5, and 7. And this one's just a 2 here. This is just a 5 and a 7. Okay, so now that this is a 2, this can't be the 3 because it comes from the same entropic set of 1, 2, and 3. It also can't be a 4 or 6. This has to be high, so this is an 8 or a 9. It can't be a 4 or 6 because the 5's right here. So 9 can't go here because of this 9. It can't be a 7, so this is an 8. Which makes this a 9 and this an 8. This is a 7 and a 6 up here. Okay, this is a 3 or a 4. We have so many 3, 4 pairs out here. So what is this digit here? What do we have left for this box? We have 3, 4, 6, 9. Oh, this is just a 3 or 4 because it can't be a 6 or a 9. So that leaves this as a 6, 9 pair. Nope, this is just a 9 and a 6. This can't be a 4 because it is from the same entropic set as a 6. So there's a 3 and a 4. That makes this a 4 and a 3 and a 3 and a 4 and a 4 and a 3 and a 3 and a 4. And then these are just going to finish up with some basic Sudoku. We need a 9 and a 3 in here. Is that resolved? It is because we have the 9 up here. So this is a 3 and a 9. This column, or not column, this row is a 4 and a 5. That is not resolved. This one is a 7 or an 8. This is a 7, this is an 8. Okay. We need a 4 and a 7 down here. This is a 7 and a 4, which then makes this a 4 and a 5 up here. And then in this row, we need a 2 and a 3, which are 3 and 2. And then finally, we need a 1 and a 6, which are a 1 and a 6. All right. That was very interesting with how everything interacted. I think kind of realizing that these both had to be the extremes was big. Placing the 1, 6, 7 triple down here. I should have noticed this 3, 4 pair earlier. That would have really sped things up, but I was so focused on this box down here for a while. So I kind of got lost in the weeds there for a bit instead of looking at this 3, 4 pair. And again, I don't remember which one I saw first, but as soon as I placed this 1 and 2 and made this a 3, 4 pair, that solved this box for the most part. I mean, it didn't give me every number, but it definitely gave me kind of a kick in the pants to get going. Like it really sped things up there. So yeah, that was interesting how all those little things interact between boxes. And it's kind of fun with all the different boxes having their own rule set. I mean, there was a couple of duplicates, but still there was nothing that overlapped boxes really. I mean, they all interact, so they all technically overlap a bit, but each constraint being limited to its own box is kind of fun. An interesting way to show all those things. So thank you to Palfly Kampling for creating the puzzle. If you'd like to try it, there's a link in the description. And if you're enjoying my videos, remember to leave a like, subscribe, follow, and let me know how you did with this.